There is a secret about the Filipino people. A secret so old, so deeply buried, that even the nations surrounding them have forgotten it ever existed. Some scholars believe the true origin of the Philippines is not written in any modern history book, not hidden in old Spanish archives, not traced through island migrations, but encrypted in ancient genealogies written long before Southeast Asia had a name, a nation of more than 7,000 islands. Yet one question has refused to die. Where did the Filipinos truly come from, according to the Bible? And what shocks researchers most is this: the biblical trail does not point to China or Malaysia or Indonesia. It points to two opposing bloodlines, two ancient streams that once flowed from the sons of Noah, Japheth, and Ham, two lineages that were never meant to meet. Yet somehow mysteriously they did. You are about to hear the story of a people whose ancestry stretches across continents and across scripture. A story that challenges the boundaries of ethnicity, archaeology, and theology itself. A story that suggests the Filipino identity may be far older and far more complex than anyone ever imagined. Every episode is a lamp carried into a hidden corridor of time. If your heart is steady, if your mind is open, then step with me into the unknown. Because a people as diverse as the Filipinos could not have emerged from a single root, yet their diversity aligns with something astonishing, something described in the earliest chapters of Genesis right after the Great Flood. And to understand that mystery, we must begin with the very first ancestors who walked these islands. The story begins with a truth so vast, so intricate, that it often goes unnoticed, even by those who live within it. The Philippines is not just one nation. It is a mosaic, an extraordinary living tapestry of more than 110 ethnic groups, each carrying a fragment of a history older than kingdoms, older than colonial empires, perhaps even older than the very names of the islands themselves. Tagalog, Bisaya, Ilocano, Igorot, Lumad. Names spoken today as identities, but once whispered as lineages, echoes of ancestors who carved their lives into mountains, coasts, and forests long before ships cut across the Pacific. Yet among all these groups, one stands apart with a startling revelation. The Negrito peoples, the Ayeta, the ATI, the Agta, are not simply another thread in the Filipino tapestry. They are the oldest, the original, the memory of a human presence that stretches back more than 40,000 years. Because the Negrito story shakes the foundation of Southeast Asian history. Their DNA links them to ancient Australoid populations, people who walked across land bridges and coastlines when the world still belonged to rivers of stone and forests untouched by time. When you look at the Philippines today, you're not seeing a young nation. You are glimpsing a continent of stories layered upon stories. But then comes the twist, an archaeological reversal that rewrote the entire narrative. For decades, scholars believed that the ancestors of modern Filipinos drifted northward from Indonesia. But evidence rose from pottery shards, abandoned settlements, and the fingerprints of language itself, revealing something shocking. The Great Austronesian Migration did not begin in the south. It began in the north. From ancient Taiwan, back when it was home to early seafarers, waves of Austronesians embarked on a journey unlike any other in human history. They sailed into the Philippines, bringing with them not only tools and boats, but entire cosmologies, languages, and traditions of the sea. This north to south migration forms the cultural backbone of the Filipino identity. In many lands, migrating groups replace the ones who came before. But not in the Philippines. Here, the Austronesians did not erase the Negritos, they merged with them. A rare and remarkable fusion. The result was a people whose bodies carry the signatures of two worlds. Skin tones ranging from pale to deep brown. Hair textures from straight to tightly curled. And facial features that blend maritime ancestry with the resilience of Earth's earliest wanderers. a living testament to coexistence rather than conquest. But the story becomes even more astonishing as we trace the centuries forward. Influences flowed in from every direction: the Mon Khmer peoples from mainland Southeast Asia, Indonesian traders, Papuan mariners from the east, Spanish colonists and Mexican settlers traveling through the Manila galleon, Hokkien and Cantonese merchants, Indian migrants, Arab sailors, Japanese Kirishitan seeking refuge, and later Americans who reshaped education and government. Few nations on earth can claim such an expansive, overlapping circle of cultural inheritance. And the fingerprints of these influences survive most clearly in the Filipino language. Tagalog is rooted firmly in Austronesian soil, but its grammar was reshaped by Spanish structure, its vocabulary enriched by Chinese trade, its modern utility strengthened through English globalism, a hybrid tongue mirroring a hybrid people. Before we move deeper, take a breath and listen. If you sense that the Filipino story does not rise from the soil alone, but from ancient currents of humanity itself, then share your reflections, your memories, or a fragment of your own origin. Your words become part of this journey woven into the same tapestry we now explore together. And now comes the question that biblical scholars could not ignore. A question born from diversity so immense that it mirrors something far older than Southeast Asia, something described in the genealogies following the Great Flood. Could the Filipinos be descended from one or even two of the three sons of Noah? That answer is hidden in names most readers skim across. Names that hold entire nations inside them. To unlock the mystery, we must step into the forgotten genealogies of Genesis. To understand the biblical origins of the Filipino people, we must step into one of the oldest genealogical maps in human history, a map not drawn in ink, but in names carved into scripture. A map that begins with a single family stepping out of the shadow of the Great Flood. The Bible describes three sons of Noah, each destined to populate a vast region of the world. Yet only two of those lineages align with the physical, cultural, and genetic mosaic of the Philippines. The line of Japheth and the line of Ham. The line of Japheth through Gomer, and then through a name often forgotten. Togarma is traditionally linked with the peoples of Northern Asia, the ancestors of several Mongoloid and Proto-Austronesian populations. These are the groups whose features include straight black hair, lighter to olive skin, and distinctive monolid or narrow-set eyes, features that live unmistakably within millions of Filipinos today. But then comes the second lineage, Ham, the father of southern nations, the patriarch of peoples marked by deeper skin tones, curly or coiled hair, robust builds, and broad facial characteristics. The very traits carried by the Negritos of the Philippines, whose presence predates every migration wave that followed. Two ancient bloodlines, two sons of Noah, one island nation bearing both signatures in its people. This is not common, not accidental, and certainly not ignorable. Now we step deeper into the mystery, a name almost always passed over in Sunday sermons, yet critical to our exploration. Togarma, the forgotten ancestor. Ezekiel describes a people from the far north, traders and warriors whose identity became obscured over centuries. Many scholars believe Togarma represents a population that once migrated eastward across the steppes, then southward through East Asia, eventually spreading into the early Austronesian world. Because the physical descriptors attributed to Togarma's descendants, skin from pale to warm brown, straight dark hair and sharp or narrow eyes, appear vividly in the Filipino phenotype, not as isolated traits, but as foundational ones. It is as if the Philippines carries in its faces a coded memory of this ancient northern lineage, and yet the tapestry is incomplete without the second thread, the Hamitic presence. When we look at the Negrito peoples, the Ayeta with their deep brown skin, the Agta with tightly curled hair, the ATI with their sturdy builds and broad noses, we witness the unmistakable imprint.